Mr. Borough President, thank you so much for doing this. And before we even talk about old memories or anything, thank you so much for being such a great guest. You never qualify what I'm allowed to ask. You sit down, and 22 times more than anybody else, you've been the most frequent guest on BronxTalk. So I really appreciate that.
Well, you're saying thank you and you appreciate it. I think that this is more about myself and Bronxites saying thank you to you and showing our appreciation for 20 years of either political conversation and debate or even having the information that unfortunately we don't get to hear or see on television too much these days. And over the last 20 years, you've been consistent with it. You have given it your all with a certain class and fearlessness and a particular wealth of knowledge that you don't get to see or hear from many journalists. And so for that, I'm here to say congratulations and thank you.
Well, thank you so much for thinking that way. You know, we never really stopped to count. We never stopped to look back. So this really was an opportunity to do that. And so I look back at the 22 segments that you were on. Do you have a favorite segment, a favorite moment, or a worst moment that you think of?
Well, I still remember the first time I went on your show, which was the day before the special election in 1996. And I remember how nervous I was. I remember going to your show with my dad in the car, and he's sort of explaining, but for the viewers, for the people who don't understand, I was, 22 years of age at the time. I was running for the New York State Assembly. There was a snowstorm. There was snow everywhere. It was really cold. And here I am doing my first television interview. And I remember being really nervous. And what I do recall from that is how you would ask certain questions, and there were times where I felt you made it more about my father than me, and my father took exception to that. But I felt really good after the interview, and I always remember wanting more.
Well, you got a lot more over the years, but maybe it's because you didn't have a track record at that time. We both believe in the borough of the Bronx. And when we were at the YMCA dinner the other night, and we both saw that young man who was, 11 or 12 years old, put us both to shame, I think we were both inspired by that. And on that level, I think that's where we're on the same page.
That's why when I go to your show, and I don't understand why people are hesitant to go.
There you go.
That's a little jab there, I guess. I don't know. But when I go, I like you said, we don't have a conversation about what you're going to ask. I don't take exception to it because I know at the heart of it is a journalist who is doing your job, but at the same time you're asking questions from the vantage point of a lifelong Bronxite, someone who really cares about the borough. And that means that tough questions need to be asked. And we are in the job as elected officials and community leaders to be able to answer or state our position on whatever questions that you ask. And there are times that you've been really tough on us, for instance, on filtration. You've been tough on us on making sure that whenever we have some type of public investment or public dollars going to a project, what type of return are we getting on that investment? And I think that that's all valid, and we really appreciate. I think Bronxites really appreciate. And the one thing that I love the most is when you have your political debates.
Well, you tell me about them afterwards. You say, I can't believe you asked so-and-so.
I want to congratulate you. You've done over 50 debates in your 20 years. You have had every single elected official from our borough and beyond come on your program. You have had professionals from myriad different issues, inform Bronxites. And the way that you do it, your style is something that I think Bronxites really need to appreciate, and it's not what we often get with public access television. Certainly throughout the city of New York, I think you exemplify good quality journalism, a quality interviewer, and here in the Bronx, and BronxNet is lucky to have you, and I hope that you will be around for another 20 years at least.
And we know there will be a next time, and we appreciate it. Ruben Diaz, thank you so much.